Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to make a quick video for anybody who's seen any of my other videos. I'm working on a movie of the original first video I posted on YouTube. Um, I had something come to my attention that I've really been thinking about, and that's the reason for this video. Um, for you who don't know, in 1974, when I was 7 years old, George Lucas had a cousin named Jack Hamburger who lived around the corner from me, and they stole Jedi Knights in the Force from me in 1974. Now, the original piece of evidence I had that would have proved this vanished, and there's more about that in the other videos. But other evidence has been mounting. I have witnesses. I've been trying to tell. Shh. I've been trying to tell the truth about this for 20 years, and I've been making videos and putting them on YouTube since 2013 and 14. I think I started in 13, and they put me under a heavy algorithm, YouTube did. And literally, one of my videos went to 49,600 or 500 and something views. It was either 5 or 600. And then it just like almost stopped. It took it 5 years to hit 50,000. That's when they put me under the algorithm. But that's not the point. The point is I've been making videos. I've been sharing them on other platforms like Rumble, Instagram, I was putting them on Twitter. Twitter banned me and said I was targeting certain groups, which was a flat out lie because I never went on to any liberals' tweets at all, and I only talked to conservative people on there, so that was a flat lie. I never went to any or liberals' tweets and said anything to them, so there's no way I could have been targeting certain groups, which is the excuse they used to ban me from Twitter. But what it was is I think I was getting so many followers that I had gone up to 20,000, and they started shadow banning me and trying to knock me back down, but I kept adding like thousands. I really, technically, I was probably around 30,000 viewers on Twitter, and they knocked me down to all the way down to 12,000, and then they gave up, and I kept adding. I was still adding more, and it started going back up, and then suddenly they banned me permanently from Twitter. And I really think it was more to do with these videos than that, because they don't want the truth to be known. And more evidence is piling up. I've got a person who said they worked for Lucasfilm who sent me a message on one of my videos who told me they heard him say it, that he had heard it from a kid. So a lot of people sit and second guess. He's taking things from other people. I put that in the last video. If you go watch, he steals things from everybody. It's not just little things, everything. I mean, he takes it's like a person going into a junkyard and just taking parts off of everything, and building a car from junk parts, and then taking credit for all of it and never saying, oh, thanks to the junkyard or anything. You know what I mean? But for me, in my end, he made an oral contract with me and told me he was going to make me rich and famous when I was 7, which I've given up on. I'm just trying to tell the truth now. And these people out here, everybody, I mean, it's not just liberals, it's not just conservatives, everybody I've been telling the truth to out here, and nobody's paying attention. Whether you believe in God or not, you go stand before St. Peter and you tell him you're all about the truth. And here I've been putting the truth out since 2013. No one's listening. You're not sharing the videos with anyone. And I don't think you're as righteous as you claim you are, even if you're conservative, because you're not purveying the truth to everyone. Because the truth should be known to everyone. And the fact that George Lucas stole from a 7-year-old kid, lied to him, the next year I was in a foster home, he never did anything for me. He took what he wanted. He took Jedi Knights in the Force, told me he was going to make me rich and famous, left me in the dirt, never did anything for me. Which I had a horrible childhood. Now, I talk about that a little in the last video. But again, I'm working on a movie. I just wanted to put this out because I really want people to start sharing this video. I don't care if you don't believe it or not. Like I said, I have 2 witnesses are my brothers. My older brother barely remembers something. My mother could be a witness if she had a good memory because she actually told me how to spell Jedi in 1974. My brother told me how to spell Knight. My younger brother remembers me specifically saying it because not only on Riata Boulevard, where this all happened in the first place, when I was playing Pirates in the front yard, I said, I'm a Jedi Knight, I'm using the Force to beat you. And he said, what's a Jedi Knight? And I said, someone uses the Force to fight evil. And he said, well, maybe you're the evil one. He remembered from me, from between that and then when we were in Florida, and I remembered again, and I said, you know what, that kid's cousin might steal it, meaning George Lucas. I ran in the house and put it on paper. That's where I was when I asked my mother how to spell Jedi and my older brother how to spell Knight. So there's three people there, and then the lady or a person, I don't know if it was a lady, man, I don't know. It's Crone45 who sent me the message and said that they had overheard George Lucas, that they worked for Lucasfilm and overheard him say that he had taken it from a kid. I'm the kid he took it from, okay? There you go. Jedi Knights in the Force was mine. Everybody sits there and calls herself Jedi, you know, this is Jedi Academy, and all these people taking something that was never George Lucas's to begin with. He stole it from a kid. He never gave me credit for it. He never gave me a dime for it. He just took it and he lied. Because he lied, that makes him a criminal, because he took something and then used it. And again, like if you look at the last video I made where I showed you some music scores from this host composer called The Planets, that he actually took stuff from that and put that in Star Wars. He took stuff from his friend Wookiee. I mean, he took Yoda from the Voynich manuscript. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that points to what I'm telling you, despite my piece of evidence getting stolen, which I'm still convinced that someone was listening to me. I've been in the process of trying to get a FOIA request filled out because there was an FBI agent that came to my house in 2001 named Bob Frederick. He later on tried to have me arrested by the Bedford police, but the Bedford police said, you know, we read your emails, you didn't really threaten him, and it sounds like you have a case, you should get a lawyer. Well, I'd already been trying to get lawyers. I tried to get lawyers in the 2002, 3, 4. I kept sending letters to lawyers, and they kept saying, we respectfully decline your request. Nobody wants to hear the truth about George Lucas. I had written Oprah Winfrey, president, who's the daytime talk show host, Montel Williams. I mean, USA Today, the Newsweek, a bunch of them. USA Today, Bush, Obama. Nobody wanted to tell the truth about George Lucas and that he steals from people. It's not just me as a kid. So again, and this is, I even said something to Trump about it, but I didn't say something to him earlier. I had mentioned it a few times and told him I had videos, but I actually sent him a link to one of my videos I did recently, just here a while back. So I haven't heard anything from him. But it's the point that I know people can investigate this and find out I'm telling the truth, and they would know if I was lying about it or not, because they could just look back and say, oh, well, there was no guy who lived around him who was George Lucas's cousin. There was no phone calls to that guy's house that day. That this is there's events that happened that caused me to remember this whole thing to begin with. So my thing today in this video is about people not sharing and telling everyone George Lucas is corrupt. You can look at the man and tell he's not an honest person. He's been stealing from people for years. It's just one thing after another. And for him not to even come out and say, oh, yeah, I took, and knew. I was in a foster home the year after he took it. He took it in 74 and 75. I spent most of 75 in a foster home. I was poor, like my whole childhood. My parents were divorced. My mom was separated. My dad went this way. My mom went that way. We were back and forth between them. We had a terrible childhood. And so that's why I didn't really remember what happened in 1974 until my mother was telling this story in 1999. And even then, I still didn't remember. I went to Florida, came back, went through paperwork with my mother, and found the piece of evidence I'm telling you about. It's a piece of paper I wrote Jedi Knights in the Force on in 1974 in my document sleeve. I still didn't remember. I put it back in there. My mother put it up with my brothers because each one of us had our own document sleeve. She put them back up. I still didn't remember completely, and I knew there was something there, and and there was something more about that story that wouldn't leave me alone. It was like, what's that old saying? That which you seek is what is causing you to seek, and it wouldn't die. It was just like constantly on my brain. And then I moved to Ohio. I got married in 2001. And that's about a time I started really remembering. It was after I moved to Ohio, because I moved to Ohio late 2000. And then I started writing him just before I got married. As a matter of fact, I had put copies of one of the letters to him on one of my videos and showed you, and I was being nice to him and everything. I think I wrote him one before that, and then the one I showed you in the videos, and I wasn't being rude, mean, or anything. I was just saying, hey, do you remember me? And he just kept ignoring me, and I found out he was in a car accident once. I said a couple things maybe that were a little bit out of line, but I didn't really threaten him. So if I had, if you threaten someone who's in Hollywood big time, you're going to go to jail. So period. I've never been to jail in my life. I don't make up lies about no one. This story, it needs to come out. People need to know the truth about George Lucas. He's corrupt as he could be, and he's lied to you all. He never told the truth about where he got Jedi Knights in the Force, and the one person who may have heard was of someone that worked in his company. And like I said, I posted a picture of that video, of their comment from my video in the last two videos. I think I put it in both of them. But you can go back to them. Sorry. You can go back to them, stop them, slow them down, and read what they said. You can read the instant message between me and my younger brother of him saying he remembers me saying Jedi Knights in the Force. And he's talking about Florida in 1974. So he said nobody's going to steal that in Florida. So that's one of the things that caused him to remember, between him saying in the front yard, maybe you're the evil one, and then in Florida going, nobody's going to steal that stupid thing. And then, well, that's exactly what George Lucas did, isn't it? I went in the house and put it on paper to protect myself, and somehow they managed to steal that evidence. But again, I think that was Bob Frederick, and I still haven't completely decided in my mind, it may be, if it's true, I don't know, that someone who worked for the FBI was corrupted enough that they sold that what is that piece of paper worth? I mean, it says Jedi Knights in the Force, and it's from 1974 from a kid who George Lucas robbed, and it proves it. So what was that piece of paper worth? Did he auction it off to the highest bidder? Did Disney get it? Did Disney use that piece of paper to blackmail George Lucas into selling him Star Wars? That's a good question, because why did he sell it and then he's still trying to control it? Why would he sell his baby anyway? That was his, right? Star Wars was his baby, right? He even, he plagiarized everybody in the world to get enough stuff together to put a movie together, and stole from a 7-year-old kid. It still doesn't change the fact that that was his baby. He stole it from everyone, but it was still his baby. So for him to sell it to Disney, I think maybe they paid a higher price to that, whoever got that piece of evidence, and they got it and they used it to blackmail him. That's an idea, it's a thought. But y'all should share this video and show it to everyone. Sorry, the table keeps jarring because my dogs are playing underneath right now. Anyway, this just needs to get out. People need to see the video. Please share it. Don't call yourself a patriot. Don't call yourself a conservative. Don't call yourself a Democrat. Don't tell me that you tell the truth if you can't even listen and you can't share the truth right now. Because as it was said, and I've heard it, injustice anywhere is an injustice to everyone. It's a threat to justice everywhere. Sorry, that's the way it goes. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Just remember that. Share the video. Thank you.